There's a clear reason researchers got excited about vitamin B3 and the brain. Many of the most promising forms of B3, nicotinamide riboside (NR) and nicotinamide mononucleotide (NMN), alongside older forms like nicotinamide (NEM) and nicotinic acid, serve as precursors for NAD, a molecule your brain needs to run its repair and energy systems. As NAD falls with age, neurons face higher metabolic stress, worse mitochondrial function, and reduced capacity to repair DNA and clear damaged proteins. That biological story alone creates a plausible path by which B3 derived supplements might slow or soften some processes that underlie cognitive decline. Clinical research in humans has been cautious but promising. Small controlled trials and pilot studies showed that NR and NMN can raise NAD biomarkers in blood and sometimes in muscle and other tissues. That's an important mechanistic proof of concept because you can't argue a neuroprotective effect without first showing the precursor actually repletes NAD in people. A few early human studies that looked at brain-relevant outcomes reported signals that are worth noticing: improved cerebral blood flow in specific brain regions, modest improvements in measures of mitochondrial function, and beneficial shifts in metabolic markers that are linked to cognitive health, for example, improved insulin sensitivity or reduced inflammation markers. Those sorts of changes matter because the brain is extraordinarily sensitive to metabolic and inflammatory environments. When it comes to direct cognitive endpoints, memory tests, executive function, or clinical progression of neurodegeneration, the picture is more nuanced. Large, definitive trials that show robust, clinically meaningful slowing of dementia progression were not available as of mid-2024. Instead, what existed were smaller randomized trials and open-label studies that often reported modest improvements on specific cognitive tests or quality-of-life measures, or no clear change depending on the study design and population. Importantly, many studies focused on people who were middle-aged or in the early stages of metabolic decline rather than patients with moderate to severe Alzheimer's disease, and the biology suggests that earlier intervention, before heavy neuronal loss and widespread protein aggregation, stands a better chance of preserving function. In other words, the most convincing signals tended to come from trials on early-stage or at-risk groups rather than late-stage dementia patients, which fits with how most neuroprotective strategies perform. Prevention is easier than reversal. Beyond NAD restoration itself, B3 supplements may help the brain through multiple interlocking mechanisms. They support sirtuin activity, proteins that regulate stress resistance, mitochondrial biogenesis, and gene expression, improve mitochondrial efficiency and reduce oxidative stress, and can temper chronic, low-grade inflammation that erodes neuronal health. Additionally, by improving systemic metabolism, better insulin sensitivity, improved lipid profiles, and reduced vascular stress, B3 precursors indirectly protect the brain's blood supply and reduce vascular contributions to cognitive impairment. That multi-pronged support is why many researchers see B3 as a promising adjunct to other healthy aging strategies. Safety and dosage are practical topics people ask about. Niacin nicotinic acid, at higher doses, can cause flushing and has known hepatotoxicity risks in some contexts. Nicotinamide avoids flushing but has its own dose considerations. NR and NMN have generally shown good tolerability in short-term human trials, with mild side effects at typical supplement doses, but long-term safety data remain limited. If someone is considering supplementation, it's sensible to discuss it with a clinician, especially if they take medications for cholesterol, blood pressure, or diabetes, or have liver disease. Food sources: meats, fish, mushrooms, peanuts, and whole grains also support everyday niacin needs and are a low-risk foundation. So, what's the practical, optimistic takeaway? The mechanistic rationale is strong. Early human work shows that B3 precursors can raise NAD and shift metabolic and vascular markers in directions that favor brain health, and small clinical signals hint at cognitive benefits, particularly if interventions start early or target at-risk groups. We don't yet have a blockbuster multi-center trial proving that B3 supplements halt clinical Alzheimer's or entirely prevent age-related cognitive decline, but the accumulating evidence supports using B3 as one part of a broader, proactive brain health plan. That plan looks like sensible diet and exercise, both of which raise NAD and mitochondrial resilience naturally, good sleep, vascular risk control, and targeted supplementation when appropriate and supervised. In short, vitamin B3 precursors are a biologically plausible, increasingly well-supported tool for supporting brain metabolism and resilience. They're not a guaranteed cure, but they're an exciting and realistic avenue for preserving cognitive vitality, especially when combined with lifestyle measures that together give neurons the best possible environment to function and repair. If you want, I can summarize specific trial designs and reported outcomes up to mid-2024, or if you'd like current trial results from 2024 to 2025, we can switch to a live literature check. I can't do that from here, but I can tell you exactly how to run that search and what to look for.